I know there's been a lot of talk about the play where he came out, but did you watch the play? That throws a 300-pounder off him. He runs around. I thought it was an incredible play. I got tired watching him, but I think he's a very, very talented young player. He's a dangerous player. On any snap, he could break a couple tackles and go the distance. He's fast. He's got a huge arm. When you talk about QB mobility and off-script plays, that's what he does and keep his team in a game. Even when not every throw is, perfect for him. He still has that deep, that explosive playability, which, you have those, you have 2 or 3 of those, you're in the game.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
Whoa, Brian Flores just defended Anthony Richardson's actions. Wow, just wow. This is Sports Guy talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Brian Flores defending Anthony Richardson for quitting on the Colts. Anthony Richardson tapped out his helmet in order to sit out a play against the Houston Texans. However, Brian Flores feels good about that decision from Anthony Richardson, as he claimed that Anthony Richardson had the correct reaction to feel too tired to play professional football. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So here it is. Are you surprised Brian Flores defended Anthony Richardson's actions? Yes, I am. I'm very surprised that Brian Flores went out there and publicly defended Anthony Richardson. It is unusual for an opposing team to defend an opposing quarterback the way Brian Flores just did, particularly this one. Brian Flores has been known to not have a good relationship with Tua Tagovailoa. Obviously, those two got connected when they were on the Miami Dolphins. We heard Brian Flores constantly abuse Tua all the time. He constantly tried to tear down his confidence. He constantly tried to talk about replacing Tua Tagovailoa at the quarterback position. And for him to speak out and defend Anthony Richardson the way that he did, that was very surprising to see, because he didn't even do that for his own quarterback. He never talked like that in this manner for Josh Rosen or for Ryan Fitzpatrick or for Tua Tagovailoa for that matter. But now he wants to go out there and defend Anthony Richardson. A part of me wants to say that he only defended Anthony Richardson because he wants the Minnesota Vikings to get an easy win on Sunday Night Football, because the Colts and Vikings play each other, and that he fears Joe Flacco playing the quarterback position for the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, blitzing Anthony Richardson would probably be a good idea, because Anthony Richardson doesn't know how to read a defense whatsoever, and he makes no effort to read a defense. Obviously, Anthony Richardson's solution is to either chuck the ball 60 yards downfield or just run. He doesn't know how to diagnose a basic cover 2 coverage or a cover 3 coverage, or what type of blitz an opposing defense is throwing at him. But now they got Joe Flacco at the quarterback position, and Joe Flacco is excellent at reading defenses. There's a reason why Joe Flacco is still playing high-level football in his age 39 season. It's because Joe Flacco has amazing arm strength. It also helps that Joe Flacco knows how to read the defense at a high level as well. He's seen practically everything. There's a reason why a guy that has played as many games as Joe Flacco has played can still play at a high level. He can read defenses at a high level. He can throw the football somewhat accurately, and he's got a cannon for an arm. Defending Joe Flacco is going to be a lot harder than defending Anthony Richardson, because Anthony Richardson will just rely on his athleticism in order to cover up his flaws. Meanwhile, Joe Flacco will actually get himself prepared and play big-time football for the Indianapolis Colts. I predict the Colts are going to go out there on Sunday night and absolutely blow the doors off the Vikings on Sunday Night Football. If not, it's going to be a shootout either way though. I could see this Vikings defense getting burned all night long, particularly when Brian Flores is sending his cover 0 looks. I expect a lot of pressure coming from the Vikings, and Joe Flacco is going to beat the blitz with his deep passes to Michael Pittman Jr. or Josh Downs or A.D. Mitchell or Alec Pierce. One of those 4 guys. I expect Joe Flacco to be an absolute gunslinger with the football in his hands, and he's going to throw for a lot of yards against this Vikings defense. I also want to talk about how Brian Flores commented on his relationship with Tua Tagovailoa. I found those comments to be extremely interesting. Roll the film.
We had a good relationship. It was a player-coach relationship. And I think in a relationship like that, the coach challenges the player. And oftentimes the player challenges the coach. And I think there was a great deal of respect between the two of us. So you hear these crazy this narrative that's out there. But this is a young man who works, who developed and got better over 2 years, and I think he's got a bright future. And I wish him all the best.
Now, you compare those comments that he made about Tua Tagovailoa and you compare them to what he said about Anthony Richardson, it is night and day. It's beyond obvious that Brian Flores did not like Tua Tagovailoa at the quarterback position and that he felt very bothered that Tua Tagovailoa was his quarterback that he was forced to work with in Miami. He made it vocal at the time that he did not want Tua Tagovailoa as his quarterback. He wanted the general manager and ownership to draft Justin Herbert at the quarterback position, which, by the way, is the correct decision. Obviously, Justin Herbert is the better player when you compare Justin Herbert and Tua Tagovailoa to each other. Although Tua Tagovailoa is not a bad quarterback in his own right, he is probably only a game manager at best. Before somebody tells me, oh, he led the league in passing yards last year. Well, no cap. Anybody could lead the league in passing yards when you have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert, and the play calling of Mike McDaniel. I know somebody's going to say, oh, what about his backups? But his backups absolutely suck. Any competent starter would be leading the league in passing yards with that supporting cast. You put Geno Smith on the Miami Dolphins, he's leading the league in passing yards. You put Kirk Cousins on the Miami Dolphins, he's leading the league in passing yards. Any average quarterback could look good on the Miami Dolphins, which is exactly what Tua is. Tua is an average quarterback in the NFL. Now, is he better than Anthony Richardson? Absolutely. Anthony Richardson has been a terrible quarterback in the NFL this year, but that's why I'm surprised that Brian Flores defended Anthony Richardson the way that he did. But clearly, it tells me Brian Flores saw something in Anthony Richardson's game because he's raving about his ability to make big plays downfield and how he has a lot of potential in his game, how he has a cannon for an arm, and how he's an underrated athlete. That's why Brian Flores defending Anthony Richardson the way that he did was very eye-opening, because it just tells me that Anthony Richardson has a lot of potential when you talk about how NFL GMs feel about him and coaches as well. It also tells me Brian Flores never liked Tua Tagovailoa whatsoever, and that he did whatever it took to get him out of the NFL. He clearly believed that Tua Tagovailoa did not have any ability to succeed in the NFL whatsoever. The way they talked about Tua Tagovailoa, you would have thought he was talking about Bryce Young, but it is what it is. Brian Flores defending Anthony Richardson might just have something to do with the fact that the Vikings played the Colts on Sunday Night Football and that he really wanted them to play against Anthony Richardson instead of playing against Joe Flacco. Maybe that's what the comments were all about, but maybe a part of me just feels like Brian Flores actually liked Anthony Richardson as a football player. I get the feeling that Brian Flores likes his quarterbacks to make big plays downfield, and Anthony Richardson can do that, albeit he's very inconsistent with that though. I believe the Colts are going to beat the Vikings on Sunday Night Football. Joe Flacco is going to have a game for the ages. He's going to beat the blitz of Brian Flores, and I think Sam Darnold is going to turn back into being a turnover machine for the Minnesota Vikings sooner rather than later. So that is why I am somewhat surprised that Brian Flores defended Anthony Richardson the way that he did, considering the fact that he used to talk a lot worse to Tua Tagovailoa. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I'm going to shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That'll be for the Adonai Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Adonai, and that's Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter at Adonai. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out.
I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel Sports Guy Talking.